Sean, we're here to discuss the outcome of the ECB's restructure of the professional women's game. What's your initial reaction?
Yeah, thanks, Jack. Not just me, but everybody, and I mean everybody at the club, is bitterly disappointed by the result that's come out this morning. And I don't just mean me as a chief exec, I mean the board, the foundation, the commercial office, director of cricket, the players, everybody was unified in their approach with this Tier 1 process, and everybody put something into it, so we're really disappointed by it. I do, however, Jack, want to sort of say that congratulations to those 8 teams plus 2, which I'm sure we'll come on to, but those 8 teams that got it. Am I surprised by who they are? Not really. But you must congratulate them. They'll have put forward strong bids, I'm sure, and you wish them well. But for us, it's about us here at Leicestershire.
That was my next question. Are you surprised by the outcome or by certain elements of it?
Yes, I am surprised by certain elements of it. One in particular that came out that was completely new news to me. And actually, I'm very disappointed by how this has been handled, that 2 clubs have been given funding and told that they'll be in the Tier 1 status by 2027. That was never communicated to us prior to the Tier 1 process. So to actually find that out via a press release took me aback, very surprised. Had we known that during the process, it may have changed our approach. May have changed our approach, but you can't shift the goalposts halfway through. So for us here at Leicestershire, that was disappointing news. But again, congratulations to Glamorgan and Yorkshire. They'll now be funded in readiness for 2027, whereas the teams like Leicestershire, Sussex, Kent, etc., we don't see anything of that.
And also the closing of the divisions, I think it's 4 years of no promotion and relegation. Do you think that's a fair process?
Yeah, again, I could understand the original discussions were for 3 years to 2028. That goalpost seems to have now shifted again, so now it's 29. So that clarity has not been made available to us from the offset. So it's changed at some point, and that's complete news to us.
The phrase used in the club statement issued just a short time ago was missed opportunity. What elements of Leicestershire's tender makes you think that? Yeah,
Jack, I do. You know, and I want to emphasise as well, this isn't sour grapes. This isn't being bitter or anything like that. You know, naturally we're disappointed and surprised by sort of 1 or 2 things that have come out. However, I genuinely believe, you know, as a club, ECB have missed a huge trick here. And in some ways, I think this is a bit of an own goal. So, and what I mean by that, how do I justify that comment? Well, for me, this was an unbelievable opportunity to spread or widen the appeal of the game. So actually giving a clubs like Leicestershire, Sussex, Kent, etc., that opportunity to really develop the women and girls game, rather than it gravitate to the test venues, that would have been a perfect opportunity to really spread the game across the UK. Now, what is frustrating about that, particularly for Leicestershire, is, you know, we've seen it. We've seen a ballooning of women and girls cricket in Leicestershire. We've seen it expand into very diverse areas of the county. And then if you overlay the mantra from the ECB that this is a game for all, Leicestershire was a perfect venue for continuing that expansion into diversity. And we're doing some amazing work, and it's so frustrating now, almost the brakes are being put on that, and that would have been wrong. That Tier 1 status would have helped us really accelerate that. You know, one thing that was part of our tender process was our facilities. You know, we have those facilities here. We were ready to play those games, those Tier 1 games here at Grace Road, along with some hubs majority, 90% of the games would have played here at Grace Road. I'm not sure any other counties can actually boast that stat, so it's disappointing.
And one of the key messages was obviously growing the game from the ECB. Leicestershire had been fighting to grow women's cricket so strongly and also sustain its future, along with reducing dependency from the ECB. So is that a bit of a missed opportunity as well?
I believe so, yeah. The ECB, ever since I've been in post, they've talked to us about reducing the dependency on central funding. And we've worked hard. We've all worked hard at doing that. And, you know, we've reduced the figure. Do we want to reduce the figure more? Of course we do. That would have been the perfect opportunity to actually allow us to do that, to help us develop that game, get crowds in, watching our women and girls cricket Tier 1 status. That would have surely helped us reduce that dependency. But now that opportunity at Tier 1 level has been taken away.
I'm sure there are still some positives to come, but just on the ramifications of this decision, obviously it will slow down the process and our ambitions, which we remain committed to, but also I think you're speaking to the head coach, Stephen Franklin, the women's team, about potentially losing the better players as well.
Yeah, before we talk about that, I want to make it clear that our commitment to women and girls cricket is completely unwavering. We're right behind it. We made a big change towards the end of last year. We've got double headers. We want our women's team to use the changing rooms here. We want to develop facilities, build infrastructure. We've created hubs around the county with a lot of our partners. You know, so for us, the commitment to women cricket is not going to go away. We're right behind it. Everybody's behind it. Only yesterday we were doing an initiative that involved our women's captain here at Leicestershire. But I think, yeah, it's slowed that process down a little bit, because having Tier 1 status would have just accelerated it, would have just taken it to another level. Now we're going to have to fight. Hey, Leicestershire have always been the underdog. You know, we know that. And the perception of Leicestershire is always the underdog. So we'll fight. We're used to fighting and we'll keep fighting. And I'm sure our women's cricket team will be no different. You know, they won some silverware last year. I'm certain that we will continue to give bigger clubs bloody noses.
And just finally, you mentioned that we are so committed to fulfilling those ambitions, as we mentioned in the tender and previously. What do those next steps look like in the short term and the long term?
Yeah, definitely. I think for a club, in terms of the women and girls cricket, we want to raise the profile here. We want to develop our players. You know, with this news, it's going to be even harder for us, because our talent will get picked off. Hey, we're used to that as well, but we want to build a team here. You know, I mentioned about the hubs and us really expanding into different parts of the county. So for us, you know, that commitment will not go away, and we'll do everything we can. You know, what I would say on the back of the announcement is that I'll be demanding a meeting with the ECB and to hear their strategy. You know, explain to me why we didn't get it. Was our process not good enough? Why is there changes? You know, what has kind of happened to change the opinion of the ECB of Leicestershire County Cricket Club? So I'll be taking all that information, us as a whole club, but making sure we progress and go forward and continue to fight. And as we did last year, continue to win silverware.